Hi there. This time I'm going to talk about how to stay organized. And I hope these tips are going to be really helpful to you. And if they are, please do like the video. For me, it's really important that my productivity system is really simple and easy to follow. Because if it's really complicated, then it's just going to be obviously harder to follow. And then it's, that much easier to not do anything and procrastinate and whatever. So most importantly, I don't try to be busy and I don't try to make things look good or have like a really pretty bullet journal or something like that. I just want to get things done. And that's something I definitely recommend you do. As in, if you want to have a pretty bullet journal, that's just fine. But do keep in mind that, the time you spend making your bullet journal pretty, you could spend doing something else. And, how beautiful your notebooks and notes or whatever look doesn't really affect how productive you are or uh, how much you get done and so on. If you want to be as productive as possible and really stay organized and just get things done, you want to have a system that's really easy, doesn't take much time, and is flexible. I like to use Google Sheets a lot, and I mainly use it uh, as a calendar. Of course, there's a separate Google Calendar, but I don't really like to use it because it's not as like you can't really edit it exactly the way you want. So I mainly use my Google Sheets calendar for blogging. So I use it to like plan the most important things I'm going to do that month. So, for example, obviously writing blog posts and maybe like creating some Pinterest pins or something like this. It doesn't contain everything I'm going to do that month, but it's like the minimum I'm going to do that month. And so, because this is a blog calendar, so it doesn't really matter what time of the day I'm going to do something. It's not about where I have to be at a certain time or something like that. It's just about what I'm supposed to do each day. Also, when I had a day job, I would mark my work days um, in yellow. So it was really easy to see which days I would be working and which days I would be completely free. And then it was easier to plan like how many blogging related tasks I could do each day. So that was really convenient as well. And also that's something that you couldn't do as easily in Google Calendar. Also, having a whole calendar spread really helps you to understand how much you're going to do each month. And for example, if you have to take a few days off because you're going on vacation or something, then you can easily move things around and you can kind of have a better idea of how many things you can actually get done. Right. But I definitely do recommend leaving some days empty because sometimes things just happen. Maybe you get sick, maybe, I don't know, you have to be somewhere a certain day or something. And then if your whole calendar is completely packed, you're going to have problems. But if you have a few days here and there when you don't technically have to do anything, then, you can move some tasks to those days. And, that's going to save you definitely. Plus, anyway, of course, it's good to have days off. So I started using this system when I was still in university, and it was honestly so helpful. And it's helpful because it's so simple, it's so easily editable, and it doesn't take you any time at all to have things planned. So that's why it's so good. So I'm going to show you this for both university and blogging. Um, but it, of course, works for anything else as well. And it's really useful if you're working on some projects or if you have like a long list of different things to get done. And again, the important thing here is that to be productive, you have to just get the important things done. You don't want to spend unnecessary amounts of time on something that doesn't really matter. And the planning part is what doesn't really matter. It just helps you to get things done, and that's it. So what you want to leave time for is the actual work. All right. So that's why it's so useful to have everything planned on Word. So it's so simple and fast to use. You get a you immediately get an idea of all the things you have to get done and how much work you have. So that's why it's really going to help you. So for university, I would simply list all of my courses and everything else I'd have to get done. Right, so what I would do first is just write down all the courses I would have. Right, and then bold those course names. And then simply underneath those titles, I would simply list everything I had to do for that course. And so, for example, if for sociology I would have to write a certain essay, I wouldn't just write essay. I would write something like brainstorm the essay, choose a topic, look for books or articles or whatever on this topic, write introduction, blah blah blah. So it's like everything would be like a simple bite-sized step that you could complete in like less than half an hour. So that then made it easy to know how much I would have to get done, and it wouldn't be overwhelming, because if you just list down something like essay, it could take like 6 hours to write it. So seeing that listed is just going to make you feel like it's really hard to get it done, and you're not going to want to do it. So instead, you want to break all your bigger tasks into these easier, more manageable tasks. So it's so easy to just like choose what you're going to write about, but that already is going to be one step forward. So that's also something to keep in mind. Right, so the important thing is that every single bullet point is going to be so easy that you can complete it in one sitting. So preferably in less than half an hour. All right, so this is what you do for every course, and then overall you're going to have a good idea of what you have to get done. So maybe you're going to have 30 things listed, but then these are the 30 things you have to do. And you don't have to try to remember what are all the things you kind of should get done at some point, because these are all the things. You're not forgetting anything. And also sometimes my list will get really long, which, it would sometimes feel a bit overwhelming. But I think it was kind of good at the same time, because, when you see that you have so much work to do, it kind of forces you to just get to work. So in a way, it was kind of good. So I also use this system for blogging, and whatever projects or anything you have that you're working on, this can work for those projects too. But so for blogging, I basically usually write down every blog post idea or like a keyword I want to write about, and I bold those. And then underneath them, I write the drafts and any kind of notes or anything I want to remember. So then it's much easier to actually get to writing, because you just choose one of them. And then if you already have like some sort of an outline or at least some notes, then it's so much easier to just start writing. And I never feel like I have nothing to write about, because I have this really long list of ideas and keywords and everything. So it's like, yeah, whenever it's time to write, I just open that file and, pick one of the titles and start writing. And also, I think this is really good for writing, or especially if you write articles, because I feel like when you're writing in Word, you don't have the same pressure to write good text. You're just writing a draft, or you're just writing for yourself. So it's easier to just kind of write and write and write. And then when you have a long draft, then it's easy to just copy that and paste it into WordPress or wherever. And then it's so nice when you feel like you've almost already written a post, and all you really need to do is a few edits. So it honestly helps so much. All right, the third thing is, of course, to-do lists. Obviously, everyone uses to-do lists. Nothing special about them, but they are still really important. Lots of people use bullet journals or have special pretty notebooks for their to-do lists. My notes certainly don't look all that great, but they work, and that's what matters. And actually, I feel like it's kind of nicer to have to-do lists that don't look all that good, because then it's nice to just cross everything over and throw the list away. I do understand if people want to have nice, beautiful bullet journals, or maybe have file of facts or whatever. I get it. it's fun. But if you truly want to be productive and spend your time as wisely as possible, then you definitely want to just get things done and just list the things you have to get done. Don't care about your handwriting or any stickers or whatever. Just get it done. The important thing is that your list is clear and that it helps you to do everything you have to do. And again, it's important that you break all the bigger projects down. So if you have a task that's going to take maybe like 3 hours, well, that's too long. So you need to break that down. If you have tasks that take like 15 minutes, that's great, because then you know it's something you just get done, then it's done. You don't even have time to get tired or bored or whatever. It's just 15 minutes. Of course, if you find that creating those beautiful to-do lists motivates you, that's great. But I would still encourage you to sometimes at least try to just write those really ugly lists that are just for getting things done, because it can actually kind of take some pressure off you, because you have to spend less time on that and you can just focus on the task itself. So it can actually help you. And definitely don't feel pressured to have any pretty notebooks or anything because of the things you see online. It's just online. It doesn't matter what other people are doing. What matters is your life and what you're doing and what you want to get done. Okay, and last but not least, Notion. I haven't used Notion for very long, but it has already proved to be quite useful. I have used Evernote and OneNote before, but I definitely don't like them as much, and I think Notion is much more useful, and it's more versatile, and yeah, it's just more convenient to use. So I definitely recommend that one. I have 2 blogs and I do have 2 Notion pages for both of them, but I mainly use Notion for YouTube because it's really easy to write like really long notes and have like many different notebooks and different pages, and to move things around and so on. So it's really good for YouTube. So Notion is really good if you have lots of projects to work on, or you want to share your notes with someone else, or if you want to access those notes on lots of different devices. And of course, it's available for both iPhones and Androids. And as said, I don't always use the same system, but these 4 tools are honestly really useful. I use them almost always, so I definitely recommend that you try them. And let me know how they work out for you. And if you have any other tips or some sort of unique system that you use to stay productive, I would love to hear about it. So definitely share your own thoughts and tips in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And that was all for this video. I hope you found this video really useful and that these tips help you to be more productive and help you stay organized. And let me know what you thought about these tips, and see you in the next video.